Good afternoon, my dear students. Today's class will discuss about the applications of Gauss law. I think this will be the last part, like few more problems here and there left over, so that let me try to cover them. The questions which you are supposed to ask in paper, no, that I have drawn it here. I'm going to discuss them here. Some 4 or 5 questions which you find difficult that I included here. Just make observation. Okay, there's one question we have. So it is based on the flux concept.
Sir.
Hello. Paper I'll send afterwards. Paper I'll send out. Let me discuss all these problems. Okay. Yeah, somebody.
Regarding paper.
Paper 4 or 5 questions which you find difficult. Okay, I'm going to discuss. Then afterwards, the solutions are there. You manage it. All they are formula based.
Yes, sir.
Any key corrections are there? Okay, that after key corrections you can wait it. Only 4 or 5 questions I find very difficult. Okay, that I'm going to explain now. Because all 30 questions, some students they'll ask all 30 questions. Even formula based calculations also they'll ask me to check. Not possible. No. Okay, this is one question what you had. Two charges. Okay, this was Q1 and 2Q. So here I took Q and 2Q. It is electric field line emerges from a positive point charge plus Q at an angle alpha to the straight line, connecting it to a negative charge minus 2Q as shown. At what angle beta will the field line enter the charge minus 2Q? So what is the basic idea? Like a solid angle and the lines of force, we have to take it. Now, if you look at for a charge Q, number of lines of force, if I assume 8, then for 2Q charge, how many it should be? 16 lines of force should be there. So then here if you take this particular region, so this is the thing that one. So I'm going to, I'll call this as a tube. Within this tube, how many lines of force are there? Those many lines of force should remain constant. Actually, we have to draw many lines here. Will have a content like this. So here is what is saying is that, and this is the beta. This is the reference line. Reference line will draw it. One. Okay, what is alpha? Alpha is this one. And beta is this one. Okay, this is alpha, this is beta. Okay, what is the concept we have to apply? So now for 2Q charge, if there are 16 lines are there, for Q charge, it will be 8 lines. Will I agree? And if I assume this is a tube, this everything is a tube. So what is a tube, sir? Like where we are not seeing the tube. Okay, the tube is what? I'll call this a tube. This will become a tube here now. The number of lines of force in a tube should remain constant. This is a property of that one. But total number of lines of force emitted by this will be different. So here we'll further continue. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First, let me finish off these lines of force also. Then you'll get some idea, you'll get it. How many are there here total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I have to draw another 32 lines. Let me try to. Are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I have to draw a few more lines. 24, 25. It's a rough diagram. 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Okay, this idea, no. So number of lines of force to make you understand, actually, spacing between them all everywhere should be same. So to explain the concept, I took like this here. So here number of lines of force, how many? 16 lines. Here 32 lines of force. But if you draw a tube, number of lines of force in a tube should be same. Okay, no, and the number of lines of force are proportional to charge, amount of charge. So how many lines of force that are there in the tube? So I'll take help of the unit solid angle. For what is a solid angle for a spherical surface? 4 pi. And the number of lines of force are proportional. So therefore, this will become Q by 4 pi into solid angle. That should be equal to 2Q by 4 pi solid angle alpha 2. What is alpha 1, alpha 2? Solid angle subtended by the tube at Q, and so this sigma 2, this will be solid angle subtended by the lines of force at the 2Q. So this will go for further. Alpha 1 will become 2 pi 1 minus cos alpha, half cone angle. 2Q 4 pi will be 2 pi 1 minus cos beta. How to interpret this? Lines of force per unit solid angle into solid angle will give number of lines of force in the tube at this particular point, and number of lines of force in a tube should remain same. So actually you draw later on. I don't have this one. So draw here 16 lines. 16 lines, here 32 lines. You take a tube. The number of lines of force in a tube should remain same. So how to explain the number of lines? Like for a full spherical surface, what is the solid angle? 4 pi. So lines of force per unit solid angle into this much of solid angle. What is solid angle here? 2 pi into 1 minus cos alpha will become the solid angle subtended by the tube at Q. So you have to interpret this in separately. So what is 2Q by 4 pi? Lines of force per unit solid angle at point charge Q. Lines of force per unit solid angle at point charge Q into solid angle will give number of lines of force in the tube at Q, and that should be equal to number of lines of force in the tube at Q, because number of lines of force in a given tube should remain same. What is the basic idea? Number of lines of force in a tube. See, actually, we don't study the tubes. Again, there are different types of tubes are there. One problem is there in book and it is getting circulated. Whether it is useful or not useful, nobody knows, since it's there in book and we are dumping it. Just a bit. Okay, solve this. So what we get it here, this will be q by 2. Okay, now we'll continue. This will be 1 minus cos alpha by 2 equal to 1 minus cos beta. Solve this, we'll get expression for the alpha and beta. 1 minus cos alpha, we can write it as 2 sine square alpha by 2 by 2. So sine square alpha by 2 so sine of okay, this is what is the use of this? Okay, to study the lines of force. As such, we at our level, it's just one numerical, but it's having wide applications at higher part of physics. For us, it's just like an idea of the lines of force. May not be very, very important. That's what I feel. There in most of the books, what is the use of that? Actually, the solid angle concept is needed. Only in the Gauss law we can learn it. No, next again. Find the electric flux passing through the Gaussian ring. You know electric field due to a ring. So at a distance, so here you assume a ring of radius r. I expected such numericals students supposed to solve after discussing so many. Okay, how the field at every point on the ring? It will be different. So what is the electric field? E equal to lambda by 2 pi f naught r. And now it will be perpendicular to plane of the ring. So flux linking the ring. Flux. Flux linking the ring. D phi should be equal to E into dA. What is the electric field? Lambda by 2 pi f naught r. dA is 2 pi r dr. So 2 pi get cancels. R also get cancelled. So lambda by epsilon naught into dr. Okay, so this is 4. 4 it is. I made correction here. So here 2 f naught will come. One r gets eliminated. You can see from here 2 pi here. R also get. What is this 2 pi r dr? This yellow color region. What is the area of this yellow color region? 2 pi r into dr. And everywhere E bar will be perpendicular to this. Okay, what should be the limit now? So the limit should be the net flux 0 to capital R. There's a flux linking the ring. There are other components are there. What is this component? E parallel. What about E perpendicular? E perpendicular will be like this. I'll write it down. No problem. Due to E perpendicular, what is the flux linking? Will be 0, no? Because E perpendicular will be parallel to n cap. E perpendicular will be perpendicular to n cap, whereas E parallel will be parallel to n cap. So the flux, what all the flux linking the ring will be only due to E parallel. Now this is like, if they give potential function, electric potential inside a charged spherical ball is given by V equal to A r square plus b, where r is the distance from center and b are constant. Find the charge density inside the ball. Okay, first of all, well, if I differentiate this dv by dr, I'll get the electric field. So minus 2ar. Okay, b is a constant is telling, a and b are constants. So I'll get this one. Okay, let's do it. So what is actually, sir, like we are not understanding, okay, you're doing mathematics. So you do assume like let's, let me draw this is sphere. What is that ds? This will be the ds, that one. Here it will be n cap and the field will be radially outward, no? So this will be e bar. So let this be ds. The field E equal to minus 2ar. Okay, I think it will be radially inward. Huh? E bar, keep it here. Minus 2a r bar. No, r bar is distance measured radially outward. Okay, agreed. Huh? So now what will happen? So what is if Gauss law? E bar dot ds q epsilon naught. So E into ds. This will be so minus 2a r 4 pi r square. You keep it here. Now what is E? At all points, the value of E will be same. Oh, yeah. So the value of E will be same at all points. So E will become variable. So I'll take outside the integral of ds. So what do we get? Surface area of a sphere. 4 pi r square q, that one. Okay, now like a volume charge density is needed. So I'll adjust 1 3 here. So 4 by 3 r per q by 4 by 3 r q will become volume charge density. Now what is the negative sign? E bar, it will be radially inward means what? The charge density should be negative, no? If E bar is radially outward, it should be positive. Of course, here, so what will happen is angle between E bar and ds will become 180, and this sign, in fact, will get eliminated if you want to interpret. Okay, don't put positive, because look at the E bar. E bar is radially inward, so then it should be negative charge density. Here you don't get any sign, but looking at the E bar, we should interpret that negative charge density. Because E negative I shown sign, or else what happen? You don't show sign, solve it, you'll get rho negative. This is something. This is actually R. What is R? R is x square plus y square plus z square. The interpretation. It's not a plane diagram. It's not a circle. It's a sphere. Okay. After this, we'll take the next one. This is a very good problem I just picked up. A system consists of a ball of radius r carrying a spherically symmetric charge, and the surrounding space is filled with a charge of volume density rho equal to alpha by r, where alpha is a constant and r is the distance measured from the center of the ball. Find the ball's charge at which the magnitude of electric field strength vector is independent of r outside the ball. Find the ball's charge at which the magnitude of electric field strength vector is independent of r outside the ball. Means somewhere here the field strength should be constant. These are I just wrote it. Okay, there's a question. Again, based on Gauss law. I discussed similar question in the gravitation. Hope you remember. We had this similar discussion in the gravitation chapter. What is asking? So there is a superposition of the field. So we have first like a uniformly charged ball. Okay, first we'll calculate field due to this. At a certain point, this one. Okay, what is the radius of this? The radius of this, let it be r. Charge density is rho naught. That Q naught charge, or the total charge of this Q naught has to be find out. So somewhere a point P lies outside. Then what I do is like, next again, I'll bring a what about this charge? This charge will be spreaded. Okay, this should be the R, capital R. Let this be smaller, where the density of this is this one. It's like a thick shell, no? Okay, now we'll calculate the field strength here. So first the field strength here at point P. The point P is here. Hope if you are able to imagine like this, okay, good. Otherwise, I don't know what you're doing. So what is telling? The magnitude of electric field strength here must be constant. So for that, what should be the charge of this ball? Okay, the ball, I'll write it. This should be the ball. Okay, are you able to get this one? Because the charge density is outside and the surrounding space filled with a charge. So only from small r greater than capital R, the charge density will vary like this. Okay, the field strength at point P. So due to this, E1 here, E2. Same vector diagram, same diagram should be there. No? I'll draw it properly. The point P, yeah. Okay, now look at the situation and try to write the equations. So the field strength here be E1, due to this be E2. Can you calculate E1? So where the point P lies for the ball, it will lie outside, no? At a distance R. So what is electric field strength? Q naught by 4 pi epsilon naught. Say R square, you write it. Now, what about the charge? Okay, we'll do one thing. We'll take this is X. It will be easy for us in calculation. How to calculate E1? E1 we know. What about E2? I think we should again take up of Gauss law, no? So we should calculate how much of charge present in this region. The old, if you draw a Gaussian surface, you have to draw a Gaussian surface of sphere of radius, till where this charge will be extended till infinity. And the surrounding space filled with a charge of volume density. In fact, I should draw this a very big. Not only this, even I can extend till where, till infinity it is. Able to get this? So till infinity it is. The external boundary will be till infinity. Okay, but what we needed a only the field strength at point P. The field strength at point P will determine. But again, drawing Gaussian surface, so I'll draw a Gaussian surface. Then how much of charge enclosed by the Gaussian surface will determine the field strength at point P due to that variable density rho. Able to analyze this one? Okay, first I think we'll calculate E2 because that will be more difficult quantity to measure. So charge enclosed dq should be equal to rho into 4 pi x squared dx. I am asking you to imagine a thin shell. Of thickness dx, radius x. So this should be equal to rho equal to how much? Alpha by x will substitute. Dq equal to 4 pi alpha x dx will come. So what is the charge enclosed? Charge enclosed should be equal to from capital R to x. So this is Q naught. We'll take the 4 pi alpha x square minus r square by 2. Okay, this will become 2 pi alpha x square minus r square. Okay, the net field at point P. Looking at here, somewhere here. And what is the net field at point P? Should be equal to E1 plus E2. What should be the E1? E1 should be equal to Q naught by 4 pi x square plus this should be equal to Q by 4 pi x square. 4 pi epsilon naught, no? 4 pi epsilon naught x square. Okay, let's substitute all the values. So Q naught 4 pi epsilon naught x square. Now what is Q value? So 2 pi alpha x square minus r square. Let me further simplify. Q naught minus 2 pi alpha r square when E will be constant. If bracket term is constant, if bracket term is equal to 0, then x square, s square get cancels, then field strength E will be constant, no? So for EP to be constant, this to be constant, must be equal to 0. Okay, then only x square get cancels in the numerator denominator here. So therefore, what is the condition now? Q naught 2 pi alpha r square equals 0. So he's asking what should be the charge. Okay, if your magnitude of charge is equal to this much, is the field strength out in that layer, it will remain constant. The field here will be in fact uniform. Very important. It's then a possibility of asking in final exams. Huh? That's why I just picked up. Very, very, very important. A student has to analyze through these diagrams. These are very important. Of course, the question diagram will not be there. I am helping you. Who will draw diagram? They're able to think. Without drawing diagram, I don't know. You find very difficult. See, nowadays students' attitude is like in the question given diagram, okay, if the question not given diagram, they think the diagram not needed. I don't know which world you people are there. It's a, we are discussing the physics, which is more related to the realistic world, not like any other subject. So the maximum some related diagram must be there. So you are so dependent on teacher, like teacher draws diagram, you draw diagram. Teacher will not draw diagram, will not draw diagram. So things have become like that, mechanical. Huh? I have one more. So one more question is there based on Gauss law only. We'll wind up the Gauss law things then. I'll bring one more. One more very fundamental. If they give E bar vector, this over, no? Yeah. Okay, let me write down very small question and very important. Huh? Regarding the flux one, the electric field, the electric field strength, depends only on the x and y coordinates according to the law E bar equal to x square, where A is a constant. Where A is a constant, where A is a, I'll make it alpha, where alpha is a constant. I cap, where is I, and I cap, J cap are unit vectors, already we know it. Find the flux of vector E bar through a sphere of radius r with its center at the origin of coordinates. With its center at another, there's a some mass based one. Okay, I to give some time. Okay, at least 2-3 minutes I should give time to assume things, draw the diagram. What is the flux? Flux is asking. So E bar dot ds bar, shall we write it? But flux of what? Through a sphere of radius r. And look at the field what we have. Okay, read question and get the, is asking sphere. So better draw one sphere. Let's see what will get it. Okay, I'll draw a sphere then. And such that the center of the sphere will be at the center of.
Sir, he asked with its center at the origin of coordinates. Any question is there, sir?
Find the flux, no.
No, sir. At the end of the question, which
Coordinates, okay, finish over.
of coordinates?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
This is the. We'll do one thing. We'll make plane. Huh? No, this is the origin. We have chosen like this. Okay, there's a sphere of radius r. I'll let me choose a surface. How the n cap for this will be? There's a unit vector which will be directed. Let me draw the, it's a unit vector, no? Yeah. So it should be radially outward. So there's the surface I'm picking up. What about E bar? E bar there. So can we define first this unit vector? Unit vector, I think unit vector should be defined for a space, no? So first we'll start with the defining unit vector. So unit vector will become xi cap, yj cap, zj cap by root of x square plus y square z square. So this x square plus y square z square should become equal to radius r. Okay, this is a unit vector. So then what about the electric field vector? So we have, so first one is the x component of field is given by alpha x by root of x square y square. Y component of field is given by, what is there in the question? I'm just trying to interpret it properly. Okay, we have x component and y component of the fields. What is the, it's asking flux. So let this be the elemental surface. So what is the ds there? First, we'll calculate the flux linking this elemental surface. Then we'll integrate, we'll see what will get the total one. E bar dot ds. So this should become equal to E bar dot, okay, this is n cap into ds, no? What is E bar? E bar we have x component of field plus y component of field dot, what is n cap? Xi cap plus yj cap. Just the basic idea of the vectors, nothing is there. Okay, we'll take the I dot I. I dot I should be 1. So this will become x ex by R. J dot J will be 1. So this will be Y, EY by R. J dot K will be 0. So we'll end up this equations here. Okay, let me, okay, this is D phi. No, what is EX value? EX value already we defined it. Alpha X alpha X by root of X square plus Y square into R. This will be Y into alpha Y by root of into, let this be ds. So root of X square plus Y square. So this R term, let me bring outside. So what is R? R will remain as it is. So what is this whole quantity will be? Okay, this is no root is there, no? I'll take it out. Okay, fine. Huh? I think this root is not there. Just check once. I was looking at this one. Huh? The field here, there is no under root. I made correction, yeah. So this will cancel out. So we'll end up with finally alpha ds by R. Okay, let me integrate this. D phi equal to alpha by R into ds. So this will become alpha R. Integral of ds will become 4 pi R squared. So this will become 4 pi alpha R. This is an answer. Nothing is there in a problem. Only thing is the field, if it is given of this kind, no. So I assume that surface, what type of surface he has given. First calculate the flux linking the small element, then you have to integrate. This is the idea. If the field is variable, what is the method? Assume a small elemental surface. First calculate the flux linking small elemental surface, then integrate, you'll get the total flux linking the surface. That's what it's telling. All that we are taking unit vectors here a little bit. The problem will become very simple. So n cap, actually it's a unit vector. How that k cap will get eliminated due to dot product here. I think this is very important to check it. I'll highlight it. Where that k cap will go. So in the calculations get eliminated. Let's not bother, but you should not define. Some books they're given n cap as they didn't define. It'll be wrong. We are discussing the 3-dimensional. This is the sphere, no? How come you can make this a circle? Okay, let's take some other questions which are, all these are very fundamental, not something very, I should say, very important. Very fundamental. A student must have a basic idea. Okay, now we have discussed a shell earthing, and we have discussed some problems of where the two shells joined by a wire. Here earthing and they're joined by a wire. Both the cases are brought here. Okay, read the question. I'll make it diagram small so that we can write the equations. We'll have this diagram. Read the question. First read question and try to understand the situation. what to do when both things are there? Okay, let's do one thing. See, we'll go to our basics. Like, what about the charge distribution on all surfaces? First, we'll go for it. We don't know charges. Charges will be of like this Q1, Q2. I think there's one basic method. A strict condition is what, like charge must be conserved, no? So can we conserve a charge of shell B? No, because it's not possible. Can we conserve a charge of shell A and C as charge of shell A and C are conserved because they're joined by a wire? Here I'm showing this particular jump means the wire is not connected to shell B. The shells A and B are connected by a conducting wire and shell B is earthed. Find the charge on all surfaces. So the wire, this conducting wire is not connected to shell B. There's a condition. Okay, now.
Sir, in exams also, if he also wants to intend that there is no wiring connected to shell B, he will
So this is a
also
symbol. This is a symbol.
checking, sir.
Yeah, this is a symbol.
Yes, sir.
There's a one proper electric symbol what we use.
Yes, sir.
It's a convention, better say. Old convention. Okay, still we'll follow this. A charge of shell A and C are conserved. Charge of so what was the charge given? Minus Q plus 3Q. So final charge will be Q1 plus Q4 plus Q5. So this should become 2Q is equal to Q1 plus Q4, Q5. Okay, there's a one thing. Then afterwards, a shell which is earthed, potential of that should be 0. And shells which are connected by wire, potential of that should be equal. I think we'll write few more equations. We'll see what will get it. A shell B, potential of shell B should be 0. Why? It is earthed, no? Shell B is earthed. So potential of shell B. So this will be KQ1 by 2R, KQ2 by 2R, 2R, KQ4 by 3R plus KQ5 by 3R. All that's equal to 0. Q1 plus Q2 should be we'll see what all will end up. There's a one equation what we have. Can we draw any Gaussian surface and get relation between Q1 and Q2? Can we apply or we should not apply here? Yes, Q1 plus Q2 must be equal to 0. Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3, Q4 should be 0. Okay, now get into, let's come for other side. What we had some discussions like Q1 plus Q2 must be 0. Any reason? By drawing a Gaussian surface in the material of shell B, the net charge and the net field inside the material of shell B should be 0. So therefore, Q1 plus Q2 will come. Similarly, Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3 plus Q4 equals 0. Substituting that here, 0. Therefore, Q3 plus, I think these are going to help us a lot. Then one more equations, potential of shell A should be equal to potential of shell C. VA equal to VC. Potential of shell A will calculate. KQ1 by R. Oh, okay, this one. Yeah, KQ1 by R. KQ2 by 2R. KQ2 by Q3 by 2R Q4 by 3R. This should be equal to KQ1 by 3R. Potential of shell C. How many unknowns are there? Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, Q5. Okay, we can solve with all the data what we have. I think Q5 will be 0. Any reason how we can say Q5 will be 0? We can't say no. This quantity will become 0. How? From here, this data. Now you have to solve all the set of equations. Q1 plus Q2 will be 0. Okay, take help of this. So we'll get relation between Q3, Q4, Q5. Here Q1, Q4, Q5. Here Q1 plus Q2, Q3, Q4, this will be 0. So we'll get here Q5 will be there. Here Q4, okay, this will get cancelled, no? Yeah. Okay, this quantity will get eliminated. Q1 plus Q2 will be 0. Then we get relation between Q3 and Q4. Okay, then we can solve here. Anybody solve it? Just give me the answer. Q1, Q by 2. So Q2 will be minus Q by 2. Check all this. Anybody solve it and give the answer? Huh? Let me wind up this question after getting the answer. Anybody value Q3? You can do one thing. Q3 plus Q4 plus Q5 is how much? 2Q minus Q1. Substitute here. Q1 plus Q2 is 0. And I given value of Q1, substitute, you'll get Q3. Very easy, simple calculations. After, so here this quantity will be 0. So you have Q5. So okay, yeah, this will get cancelled out. This will be 0. This will be 0. This will be 0. Only will get relation between these two. Can you solve it later on? I'll proceed to the next question. This is one more very fundamental one. Q1 4Q by 11. Oh, I'll change it. I don't know some. Q1 4Q by 11. Q3 minus 5Q. Check answer later on. Okay, maybe it's like calculations are needed. I'll go for the next problem. Okay, look at the copper ball. It's a conducting sphere of radius A. We have a spherical cavity at the center. Point charge Q is placed at the center of spherical cavity of radius B, created inside a solid sphere of radius A as shown. Find the electrostatic potential of the system. The best problem for conductors. Can we find out, first of all, question, can we really find out I should permit you to think, analyze once, just have a, put some effort, then I'll come into the picture. How to find out electrostatic potential? So now it's a golden rule. This cavity is there, no? This cavity, wherever you want, you shift it. If I shift this cavity such that center of cavity and center of ball are at same point, then problem will become very simple and we can solve it. So the cavity, what's happened? Its position can be changed. It will not show any effect on the charge distribution, anything, nothing will happen here. So how come you can justify such things? Okay, let me shift this. So this cavity knows exactly, let me keep it center of the ball. The cavity, can we do this for non-conducting? No, only for conducting. If the cavity is there, no, the cavity can be displaced. Okay, now let's come for this. And how do we can justify such things? Okay, it is kept at center of cavity, so uniform charge distribution minus Q, and here plus Q will come on outer surface. So the charge distribution now also. So now what is the advantage is like, we know this point charge, whether you keep it at center or not at center of cavity, whatever the charge distribution on outer surface is independent of position of charge inside the cavity. Can you remember? So that will help us a lot here. So the charge distribution will depend only on the radius of curvature of the copper ball, and here it will be how much of charge we have to put it. So this will be minus Q, this will be plus Q. You're asking electrostatic interaction. Tell me like what all here. Point charge, electrostatic energy is telling. So I'll go for this one. There'll be interaction potential energy between the point charge and the inner surface of cavity. So KQ minus Q by B. There'll be interaction potential G between point charge and the outer charge. There'll be interaction potential between inner charge on the cavity and the charge on the outer surface. There should be A. And this is between what? Point charge and inner surface of cavity. Point charge and outer surface. This is inner surface of cavity and surface of sphere, plus the self energy of 2b, self energy of this kq square by 2a. This will be the overall electrostatic potential. Minus kq square by a plus kq square by a. These two will cancel out. Minus kq square by b minus kq square by 2b. Or kq square by 2b this is. And we have kq square by 2a. Okay, the simplification of this will be total energy will become kq square minus 2a, 2b, no, this will be 2b kq square by 2, 1 by a minus 1 by b. This will be the total electrostatic potential. So the cavity, what happened, you can displace wherever you want. Because you see, what is it will not disturb the energy of the system. But if you keep it here, it will be much easier. Because now, sir, what is interaction? Very difficult to calculate. So this will be a better idea, no? So the position of cavity, so I'll write it here. The cavity will not influence the distribution of charge, the position of cavity in a conductor. It is in a conductor will not influence the distribution of charge on outer surface of copper ball. I'll write it, copper ball. And so because of that, what happened, the electrostatic potential, we can solve this. So this will be very, sir, why can't you solve the problem for this? I should go for integration, very difficult. Surface integral is what I should take. Because the interaction between this and this charge, interaction between this charge, point charge and some elemental charge here, then we should integrate. Finally, when they calculated, no, they ended up this one. So they show like, okay, instead of this, let this cavity be shifted at center and work out. This will be much easier, no, for us. So if you want, you can change the position of cavity where inside the conductor only, no, not everywhere. Don't change the position of cavity in a non-conducting charge sphere. In a conducting sphere, as you can change the position of cavity. Because the position of cavity will not influence the charge on outer surface. If there are two cavities are there in a conductor, what will the conditions? Let me introduce one more. I'll bring two cavities inside a conductor. What will be the position of? So there's a one cavity. This other cavity. I'll keep point charge Q1 here point charge Q2 here. Let's take a situation of like this. So let the radius of cavity of this be A, this be B, of that of the bigger cavity, let it be C. Or R, I'll write it. So there's a copper ball. Will there be any interaction between, and these are cavities, these are cavity. There's a cavity and there's a cavity. Will there be, what will be the charges, like how the point charges are kept at center of cavities here, Q1, Q2, Q1, Q2 are point charges kept at center of cavity, center of respective cavities. Now first, will there be interaction between Q1 and Q2? No. Q1, Q2 will not interact. Means Q1 will it exert any force on Q2? Nothing, because we know this is like electrostatic shield. Any charge present external to cavity will not have any influence on Q1. Now, what about the charge distribution? The charge distribution, in fact, will take place here. So this will be minus Q1 minus Q2. So here minus Q2 minus Q1. The charge on outer surface will be, as it is a copper ball of radius R. So what is the charge distribution? Q1 plus Q2. So let's write some terms like 1, 2, 3. What about sigma? Sigma 1, sigma 2 equal to sigma 3, which is equal to Q1 plus Q2 by 4 pi R square. No interaction. Then force of interaction between charges. Force of interaction between point charges Q1, Q2 is, so what shall I write? 0. No interaction. The cavities will not interact. Simple. But the point charge, this Q1 will interact with this cavity. With minus Q1, it will interact. This Q2 will interact with this minus Q2. But no interaction between them. Similarly, if I ask you what is the energy of the system, here also the same method. But you should not write any interaction potential between them. So treat as if only this cavity is present and this charge, write energy. Treat as if only this is present. This Q2 is present at the center of cavity and this charge here, then write, there'll be the final thing. Okay, this of all this is very important. Fundamentally, no interaction between the cavities, because this will act like electrostatic shield for this. If I remove this charge, okay, I'll remove this charge here. Then what about field strength at this point? Will be 0. I'll increase the charge. What about field strength here? Net field will be 0. If I remove this point charge, so what about the field? The net field inside the cavity here must be 0. Because it acts like an electrostatic shield. Okay, let me introduce one more. Suppose if there is a sphere is there, I'll immerse in an uniform electric field. There's an iron ball. There's a uniform electric field there. How the lines of force will be? Here the lines of force has to terminate like this. We know the electric lines of force should terminate okay, this will be the electric field. If I remove this sphere, only the field will be uniform. So what about the charge? Charge here will be negative charge will be induced. This will be positive charge. Now, what about the net field at point P? Should be 0. Due to external field E naught will be, due to external field will be like this. So this is actually uniform. This field is uniform. Later on we'll draw horizontal lines so that you'll understand. You have plenty of good questions of these kind of, please do refer, try to think on them. They're very fundamental concepts related to very fundamental. Means one question will help you to solve another 10 questions. So these are the things which are very useful. So when iron ball immersed in a uniform electric field, the lines of force will get disturbed and will be of this kind. The lines of force should terminate at negative charge, should originate at positive charge. Okay, similarly, I'll make a cavity in iron ball, then we'll see what conditions will fit. So here, let me take a I'll bring a spherical cavity inside this. And an uniform electric field is present. What about the direction? So there's a uniform electric field. What about the uniform field? Okay, this is the cavity. This is an iron block. So here a negative charge will be induced. Positive charge will be induced here. What about, I'm interested few things. So let me give 1 point P1, P2. I'm just bothered about these things. Yeah. Anybody? What should be the net field at point P1? Net field at point P1 should be 0 because it is in a conductor. Net field inside the conductor due to static charges should be 0. Okay, this will be 0. What about at point P2? Will there be any induced charge? I didn't write. Shall we put positive induced charge here? Negative induced charge? Will there be any induced charge on inner surface of cavity? No, no charge will be induced here. Only charge will be induced. Charge will be induced. So what is the field strength at point P? Will be 0. This will be 0. So no charge will be
Why no
induced.
induced charge, sir?
Because this will act like electrostatic shield, no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Huh? This is the main idea. So the cavity will act like a like an electrostatic shield. Okay, agreed. This one. These are very important. I'm telling this one. Without, if I concluded electrostatics without teaching this, then I just discuss some problems, not with good concepts. Maybe I'm not good teacher. Okay, let's come for this one. So, small idea. It's there in SU Arma. I just picked up. There's a thin neutral iron shell is there. A point charge Q0 is kept at center, and a point charge Q is kept at a certain distance x. Now I'll ask you, find the force exerted by the shell. In what direction the shell will exert force on the point charge Q0? So the description of question, a point charge Q naught is kept at center of a thin neutral iron shell. Find the force, find the direction of force exerted by shell on the charge Q naught. And the point charge Q is kept at a distance x from the shell. I will add this also, no? Okay, no, anybody? Will it exert any force? If then SU1, I don't know whether you have referred to that book or not. Very fundamental thing. Again, say what should be the net field inside the connector should be 0 due to point charge. What this point charge will do? Will induce charge here, no? Minus Qi plus Qi. How much we don't know that one. This Q naught is kept. What it does? It will induce charge minus Q naught plus Q naught. So altogether, what will be the charge distribution? I think you need one more, no? Okay, there's a question. We need. Oh, I dumped everything in one page. Huh? Okay, I'll do one thing. We'll shift all these terms. Huh? I have a place. No? Yeah. Okay, no, this is the. We'll divide this page into 2 parts. I'll bring this here. I'll adjust things. Just have patience. Okay, no. So no, I'll draw a diagram so that will be easy for you, question and answer. Because after some time where you refer, no, there won't be question for you. Okay, now let's take the what will happen after this. We'll show all the induced charges. So this will be induced charge. Due to this, I'll show negative. How much it should be? Minus Q naught. And plus Q naught. I'll show red, different colors charges will use plus Q naught. If this point charge plus Q were not there, this would have been uniform. No, this plus Q in turn will induce charge. So what it will induce here? Okay, I get this. So it will induce charge minus Qi plus Qi. So what is the net charge of shell? Will be still electrically neutral. So what is Q naught? Q naught is induced charge by this one. Able to understand? So this green color, this minus Qi is due to this. So don't write minus Q. Some charge will be induced here. So what is the net charge here on the outer surface? It should be Q naught only, because minus Qi plus Qi. This is very fundamental. Please try to understand, because we are just concluding electrostatics. A student must have all these ideas. Okay, now what is the question? Find the force exerted by the charge on a Find the force exerted by the shell on the point charge. Thin it is. Thin iron shell. Net charge will be zero only, you see, plus Q naught, minus Q naught, plus Qi, minus Qi. What about charge distribution on outer surface? Will be non-uniform, or inner surface will be uniform. This is very important. I'll write it here. Charge distribution on inner surface. Uniform. Charge distribution on outer surface will be non-uniform. You do have plenty of questions. Charge distribution on will be non-uniform. If I remove this point charge plus Q, then it will become uniform on outer surface. Because of presence of this will be non-uniform. Getting the idea? Okay, fine. Now force exerted. See, now at this point, this plus Q charge will exert force towards right. No. Then still it's at equilibrium, means then what happens? The shell should exert force towards right. So I'll. It's not advisable to show, but still to make you understand, I'm showing it. So this will be the force exerted by the point charge Q. FQ, I'll write it. Force exerted by the shell will be in this direction. And what is the state of it? It will be at rest. Okay. I think we are ending with them. Same thing, already charge is given. Okay, no problem. Again, what you should do here. This plus Q charge is there, minus Q naught, plus Q naught here, minus Qi, plus Qi. Just work out the same idea. Okay, I have one more. No. A solid conducting sphere of radius A is surrounded by a thin, uncharged, concentric conducting shell. This is the shell. This is a sphere. Of radius 2a, a point charge Q is placed distance 4a from the common center of conducting sphere and shell. The inner sphere is then grounded, earthed it is. Find the induced charge on the solid sphere. Where is the point charge? Somewhere outside, no? So due to electrostatic induction, it should not have an influence. See, I'll agree. Net field at point P should be zero anywhere inside this due to static charges. Will these two interact? The first question is asking some induced charge. Any charge will be present after earthing. Very dangerous question. Will there be any charges? Same diagram. Okay, let me show all the things after earthing. So here the earth will bring a switch, so they'll be easy for you. Now I'm going to close the switch. Okay, try to see this. What shall we do? So we'll go for, as usual, the working method. So this will be charge here, Q1, Q2, Q3. Q1 plus Q2 should be 0. Why? From the Gauss law. And a shell which is earthed, potential of that should be 0. So potential of sphere. What all potential of sphere? K Q1 by A. Come for the potential. So when it comes potential, what we should do? We should work out, we should take potential due to all the charges system present, all the charges present in system. So KQ1, this will be 2A, KQ3 by 2A plus KQ1 by 4A. Okay, this is very important. This is due to what? Point charge. due to this charge, due to this charge, due to this charge, even potential at this point will be due to this.
Sir, it will be KQ by 4NO, sir.
Okay, this is Q1, I wrote it. I'll change it now. KQ by 4A. This was a neutral, no? So one by one. So when you earth it, the potential should be 0. So KQ1 by A. So I'll get one relationship, Q1 plus Q2 by 2 plus Q3 by 2 plus Q by 4. Q2 plus Q3 should be 0, no? Any reason for that? Now from where this equations I brought it? I'll write them here. Why Q2 plus Q3? Because what was the net charge of the shell? 0, no? Initially shell was neutral. So put Q2 plus Q3 0, then how much will get it? Now, sir, you discussed electrostatic shielding. You said electrostatic shielding everything. Look at that shell. So where do that particular solid sphere, where do it will lie? It will lie inside that. So the point charge Q. Now I'll change the magnitude of this. Will here the induced charge, will Q1 will change? Yes, it will change. But you said, sir, this is independent. See, now also, what is the net force on solid sphere? Will be 0. This will exert force towards left. This shell will exert force towards right. They don't be influenced. I think these are the problems which will really kill your ideas like electrostatic shielding, no? Those things, because what we said, like what we said, this particular solid sphere will not have any influence. Still, it's justified. Say any force solid sphere will experience due to this, nothing. But sir, earlier it was not having a charge, no charges, but because of earthing, now you move this point charge. Okay, let's see that one. From 4A, I'll make it 3A. Any charge will come, nothing. No charge will come. Because of earthing, it has come. To make potential 0, what happens? The charge has come here. So I think the electrostatic shielding, little bit, you have to be alert. So you can't just bring blindly everywhere that. So here, because of earthing, because potential must be 0, no? For that purpose, some charge has to be induced on the solid sphere. Last one more, I think another 20 minutes time is there. Chemistry sir will be waiting. Now, if I have a bubble, we'll discuss that self energy one. Yesterday, somebody asked a doubt also. Very good. I also wanted to cover. Okay, this is a bubble. So bubble. Thin so bubble of radius r where the bubble is having surface tension St and the charge Q. There's the air, surface tension St. A soap bubble made up of a soap bubble made up of soap solution of surface tension St, charge plus Q, and is of radius r. At equilibrium, find the excess pressure in the bubble. Okay, why? So now it's a so bubble will be thin, no? What are the various forces that are acting? So let me break up this bubble into two parts. Can you remember surface tension? We had some discussion on surface tension. Okay, half of the bubble, let me take it. Let me construct half of the bubble. This will be the soap solution. It's not an arc. To show that it's not an arc, so where charge will present, this like a hemispherical shell, it will become hemispherical shell. So the charge is present here. Not only here, it will be everywhere here, no? No. What are the various forces that are acting? The pressure force. There should be in this direction. The pressure force, I'll write FP. Then force due to surface tension. Can you remember? We used to show arrows here like this, no? Both inner as well as outer surface, we have to show it. Look at the arrow. It is starting from inner as well as outer surface. Okay, roughly I'll end up here. So this will be the force due to surface tension. FSL, right? Then will there be any electrostatic repulsion? The left of will try to repel the right of. So an electrostatic repulsion will also act, and that I'll show it here. Why do this FE? Because the charge present on the right of will exert force on the left of towards left. Similarly, the charge present on the left of will exert a repulsive force on the right of. Do we know? Yesterday, did we discuss such things? Can you remember? For electric pressure, the idea of electric pressure. So there, the force exerted by one off on the other off. From electric pressure, I brought this formula. What was the charge? Like a Q square by 32 pi F naught R square. Okay, let me equate these two. At equilibrium, the force due to surface tension should balance electrostatic force and force due to excess pressure. Okay, what is Fs? Force due to surface tension, 2 pi R St into 2. Why one more 2? It will have two surfaces, inner and outer surface. Bubble will have two surfaces, no? That's fine. This 2, that one, equal to. What is Fe? Do we know this? Q square by 32 pi F naught R square. What is Fp? Delta P into effective area pi R square. Is asking this delta P, excess pressure. So this will become 4 pi RST minus Q square 32 pi epsilon naught R square equal to delta P pi R square. So the excess pressure is given by pi get cancelled. So 4 ST by R minus Q square 32 pi epsilon naught R to power of 4.
So 32 pi square.
Pi square. So 1 square is missing. Yeah. Check it now. I'll rewrite. Nobody wants to draw diagram. I know. If they're in material also, without diagram, everything is there. Okay, now you say that if excess pressure is 0, can we calculate the charge? If excess pressure is 0, who will balance force due to sufficient electrostatic pressure? So it's like, if the pressure inside the bubble is equal to pressure outside the bubble, then what happened to the delta P? That should be 0. Then we can calculate the charge, what charge I should put on the soap bubble. Okay. I'll wind up the class. Other teacher is waiting. Yeah, thank you all of you. Let me, yeah. Thank you all of you. Okay, take care. Tomorrow we'll meet. Advanced paper, we'll discussion, then we'll wind up. Thank you all of you. Take care. Bye. See you.